Hashtag neurobion PH. If we can make it trend worldwide, why not, right? Anyway, to tell us more about the importance of keeping your nerves healthy and to formally begin our program for this afternoon, I'd like to welcome Merck Inc. Philippines Head of Marketing for Consumer Health, Ms. Debbie Go. A round of applause, please. Hello, good afternoon everyone. Thank you for coming despite the rainy afternoon. I know it's an effort from you, so deep gratitude from neurobion from Merck. Okay, so today we would like to welcome you to the official launch of neurobion Helping True Heroes. Thank you for joining us as we continue our commitment to increase awareness on neuropathy and the importance of nerve care. This marks the third year of Neurobion's Helping True Heroes campaign, part of a neuropathy awareness movement, an ongoing advocacy championed by Neurobion, the world's #1 B vitamins and the nerve care expert. Alarmingly, there are millions of people who suffer in silence from symptoms of neuropathy. Ano yung mga yon? Ito yung tingling, numbness in the hands or feet, burning sensation, muscle weakness, and sometimes you would say loss of balance or coordination. Now, these people, we typically hear of stories where we say people do a lot for their families and friends, to the expense of their own health. So we want to help these true heroes, as we call it, and millions of other silent sufferers to get detected so that they are diagnosed properly without further delay. Neurobion's neuropathy awareness movement, or what we call Helping True Heroes, aims to help these people, these true heroes of their families, so that we get support from media, healthcare professionals, and also families and friends. So it's important we help them so that they become our true heroes in their families, so that they can also be part of our society. So without further ado, let me just show you how neuropathy affects the quality of life of our true heroes. Please watch this.
Kahit na nahirap magmaneho, ginagawa ko pa rin ito para sa aking pamilya.
Very tiring din, pero at the end of the day, very fulfilling.
I have to be very healthy to keep going on. Isa pa kung ano na nag-aaral.
I bought a car and pinasok ko siya sa isang transport network vehicle service. Nagdadrive ako ng 8 hanggang 10 hours a day.
Ang pagiging housewife, 24 hours, di pa nga 24, 27 hours a day. No breaks, no vacation, walang sweldo, walang bonus, walang leave.
My work will start at 8 in the evening, which is 8 in the morning of US. So I will be working from 8 to around 7 in the morning. And I just have to see that my children are okay in the morning and then I start sleeping.
Yung 3 years old ko, gusto niya parati nagpapakarga. Parang tumutusok, namamanhid na part with her arms up to here.
Since manual transmission yung sakyan ko, nakakangalay, especially kapag traffic. One time, sobrang namanhid na yung ako. Yung time na hindi na ako nakabiyahe kasi nga wala nang pakiramdam yung kana pa ako.
With so much writing, editing, and translating, I woke up one day na wala na kamay. Tumatakbo dyan, yung pagano'n, every hand, tapos sabay sila. I will tell my children, bilahin niyo yung kamay ko kasi ayaw na niyang gumanon sa keyboard.
Papalo na lang mga anak ko, if ever may mangyari sa akin.
Hindi na ako nakabiyahe. Paano yung pamilya ko? Wala akong kikitain.
Pag talagang marami na yung ginagawa, parang inaabangan ko lang may kamay kaya ako pagising ko.
Advice nito,
Alagaan ang nerves.
With neurobion.
I'll try this neurobion. Nakita ko agad yung effect. Hindi ko na masyadong na-experience yung mga ganung pain.
sabi ko, magtry ako ng ibang brand. Pero napansin ko na hindi siya ganun effective. Bumili ulit ako ng neurobion. After a day lang, pagkaya ko ulit.
Neurobion actually is a part of me. I cannot stop taking it. It's my vitamins for life.
Every day, kahit na isang oras, 2 oras kung ikinakanda si Hana, so hindi na ako masyadong nagpo-complain.
It will help me. Kasi dire-diretso lang yung trabaho ko.
Tinulungan niya ako sa aking hanap buhay na makabiyahe araw-araw at kumita para sa aking pamilya.
Basta mas may bunso, may son studying, nasa kamay ko yung kinabukasan niya.
Nakikita mo yung mga anak mo na masaya, satisfied sa service ni Mami at sa pagmamahal na ibinibigay mo sa kanila.
Salamat sa neurobion!
All right, thank you, Miss Debbie, and thank you very much. As you've witnessed, neuropathy or nerve damage can affect countless true heroes, and that includes you. I'm sure you're not just journalists. You have many other life roles. You are a mother, you are a father, you are everything. And you know what? You are not alone. In fact, we are very lucky for this afternoon because here with us today to also share her own story and then voice the neuropathy awareness movement. I am very, very honored to welcome and introduce the one and only Divine Diva, Ms. Jaja Padilla. A round of applause, please. She is getting ready, but while we're waiting again, our hashtags for this afternoon are hashtag True Heroes and hashtag Neurobion PH. And for those who are wondering, this is just leg one of 2 legs that we will be having this afternoon, of course. After we have our press conference, I hope you will be able to join us later in the market activity area because we will be having the main show there later on. We have many activities there. You can have your nerves checked, and other more information that you can have a check with your nerves. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome the one and only Divine Diva, Ms. Jaja Padilla.
Everyone, I was so early here. It's so surprising to see all of you. How are you all doing? Survive the rain? Yes. Yeah. I've been using neurobion for years now, and it has greatly improved my nerve condition. Ang nerve condition na to. You know what I'm very proud to say? It has done wonders to my nerves. And I don't get to feel any numbing in my arms, which is good because I love to cook for my family. And basically my problem has always been sa calves ko, nagkakaroon siya ng cramping. Ayan. So I guess it's because of me being a performer, standing up on stage and performing in high heels. So I'm so glad that doesn't give me cramps anymore.
Thank you, Ms. Shasha. Palakpakan ko ulit natin, of course, our Neurobion ambassador. Thank you, Ms. Shasha. We'll see you a little later on. But right now, we have another person who would like to share how having healthy nerves is helping make ordinary acts extraordinary. This next person that we'll be calling in is the newest member of the Neurobion family. He is a loving husband, a devoted father to 3 beautiful kids, and one of Philippines' most in-demand TV personalities. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very honored to introduce to you the newest member of the Neurobion family. Let us give it up for Mr. Ryan Agoncillo.
Uy, ang tipid naman ng palakpakan. Come on, guys.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Ay, talaga. Buti na kamang nerves ko nang napatigil. Guys, thank you very much to the Neurobion family. First, maraming salamat sa pagtitiwala nyo dahil ang Neurobion kasi pinagtitiwalaan talaga ng pamilya namin. Totoo niyan, hindi po ako ang unang nakalagay ang unang sumabak sa paggamit ng neurobion. Both my parents used neurobion, so I grew up with an awareness of neuropathy. So when it's my turn to be a parent, Wait, whose parents here? Sinong may mga anak? Sinong may mga anak na ayaw aminin? Konti kasi. Well, as a parent, we all work very hard, the whole day. And pag uwi mo sa bahay, hindi naman pwedeng hindi mo laruin ang mga anak mo after a very fruitful day at work. You don't wanna ignore them. And ako po kasi gumigising ako ng mga alas 5 ng umaga, and then I'm home before sunset, and it's usually a long day at work. So when I get home, especially after driving my cash cab or taking my motorcycle to eat Bulaga, long days at work, pag uwi, you know that, akala ko yung mga magulang ko nung nag-press sila ng mga kamay nila, yung mga paa, at the end of the day. I thought maate lang sila trying to get away from me, from playing, no? And then when I became a parent, I experienced the same. And also, I didn't want the quality of my day to suffer because of, I try to exercise also. I'm sure you guys do. But also, not only your muscles and your bones should be healthy, but your nerves. Because basically, hindi makakapag-usap ang buong katawan natin if our nerves aren't healthy. So, the doctors put me on this vitamin supplement, neurobion. And it helped me too. Hindi na ako nagpipindot-pindot para hindi akalain ng mga anak ko escaping din ako sa kanila. So guys, if I may encourage you to please pay attention, not just to your sexy muscles and your healthy bones, but also pay attention to your nerves, because it's what we need to get through the day. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the launch of Neurobion. Thank you guys.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Ryan. I think he has said it all. But we think we know it all about our nerves, as Ryan and Jaja already said. But there is actually a lot more to know. So this afternoon, we actually have a guest medical speaker with us to take us through the importance of keeping your nerves in check and very, very healthy. So let me just read off the credentials of our guest medical speaker. He is actually the Vice President of the Philippine Society of Endocrinology and Metabolism. He is also the Vice Chair of the Department of Medicine in Jose R. Reyes Memorial Medical Center and a Professor in the Department of Biochemistry, Molecular Biology at the San Romas University. Please welcome Dr. Bien Matawaran.
Thank you very much po siya. So again, good afternoon to everyone. Magandang hapon po. I'd like to thank, of course, Merck Philippines for inviting me to talk about, nerve awareness. And this is a very good activity, especially for the lady regarding this particular problem. So, can I have my side? So neuropathy, really, why suffer in silence? Because for most of us, if not all of us, have that particular incidence that we suffer from a form of neuropathy. Okay, so these are my declarations of interest, as you can see, and specifically going to the topic of neuropathy. So these are the not so unusual story that most of us suffer from, one time in our life. So, minsan natutulog ka lang, parang biglang pagkagising mo, what happened? There is numbness, stinging sensation, and that is usually a transient condition that affects your nerve. And usually that is due to some pressure on your hands that would send signals. Sabi nga ni Ryan kanina, it sort of sends signals to your body as to what you're feeling. And these are the more common manifestations of those neuropathy. So these could be just a simple, non-specific, unpleasant feeling. It could be numbness. It could be tingling sensation, as well as the more debilitating pins and needles. And you have that, and sometimes we have it transiently, but for most patients, will actually have that permanently. And that is primarily what we call neuropathy. Okay? So this is a condition that develops as a result of damage to the peripheral nervous system. So what is the peripheral nervous system? These are the nerves. So that's in yellow. These are the vast communication network that transmit information between the central nervous system. That is from the brain and the spinal column, then transmitting all of those sensations from our skin, okay? So that is basically what happens in neuropathy. And the symptoms are really varied. It's actually a spectrum, no? It is made up of what we call positive symptoms, which are elicited because of excited, exaggerated stimulation. And they also have what you call negative symptoms. And these are blunted response to stimulation. So as you can see in that slide, one of those is spontaneous pain. Bigla nilang sumakit. So that's where it would include yung mga sharp pains, pins and needles, burning sensation, and we have there what is medically termed as allodynia. So this is increased sensitivity touch. So some patients would actually just hawakan mo lang, just a simple touch, which is a non-painful stimulus, but what will happen, they will perceive it as pain. Masakit na kaagad. Tender, loving touch pa lang, painful na kaagad. So that's what we call allodynia. That's versus hyperalgesia, wherein you actually give a painful stimuli. So kunyari, pinitch mo yung kamay, but there is more severe perception of the pain. So that is also part of neuropathy. And of course, you have this there, dysesthesia, that is abnormal pain sensation. So most common symptom is the pins and needles. You also have what you call the negative symptoms. And these are usually the symptoms, numbness or loss of sensation. You have complete anesthesia or hyposthesia, medyo blunted lang, loss of sensation. You also have there what you call reduced sensitivity to pain. Kinurot ka, dapat masakit na, pero you don't feel that painful. Okay? So these are just, again, a spectrum. So it could be a positive or a negative symptom, as I've shown you. And this is just to illustrate those pain. No? Medyo graphic, but again, this will really send the message with regards to the spectrum of neuropathy. So one of those, sabi natin, pins and needles. Patients will consult your doc para pong tinutusok ng karayom yung paa, yung kamay, yung likod. And I think Shaja mentioned about this earlier. You also have their burning sensation. Dok, parang mainit, napapasok po yung paa ko. No? That could be part of a manifestation of neuropathy. Also, parang sinasaksak, stabbing pain. No? Or sometimes, we call it lancering, parang hinihiwa. And again, these are very painful, no? Conditions that may occur spontaneously, no? Without any stimulation, as well as changes in temperature perception. Sometimes, mainit, sometimes malamig, no? And these could also be pain perception. So those mainly, and like this, sensation of crawling ants. And these are also very typical symptoms of patients complaining of neuropathy. Okay? Those mainly are the positive symptoms. The negative symptoms are yun, no? Because if you have abnormality in your peripheral nerves, eventually there could be weakness, or minsan nangangawit lang as a complaint, or panghihina, that's weakness of course, and you hold numbness. And most patients would have this particular negative symptom. Walang nararamdaman. And sometimes it's actually much worse than the positive symptom. Okay? And who are at risk? This is very important. Are you at risk? Kanina in the video, it was shown earlier, the true heroes, and mostly, probably 90% of us in this room is really at risk. So mainly because of what you do, of what you are as professionals. You are journalists. No, you have repetitive movement, yung mga laging nagko-computer. So systemic diseases or disorders, very common, are diabetics. Okay? So around 70% of diabetics will suffer from one form of neuropathy, peripheral neuropathy. And I will highlight that later. So diabetics, those with metabolic conditions, those with thyroid problems, hypothyroidism. So these are general medical conditions that can cause or develop neuropathy. Those with environmental and physical factors, environmental, so again, repetitive use, athletes, kanina drivers, mothers, no, repetitive use, stenographers, typists, no, lahat ng laging ginagamit yung kamay. Some patients, those who would use their motorcycles a lot, di ba? Repetitive use. Surgeons are at risk for neuropathy, again, because of repetitive use. Some would have physical trauma. So anytime you develop trauma, fracture, etc., then your nerves are at risk to develop neuropathy. And of course, exposure to toxins. And I will highlight some of these toxins because of course, other than smoking and alcohol, some drugs can cause neuropathy. You may be familiar with INH. Alam niyo po ba yung INH? Isoniazid. Diba? That's a drug for tuberculosis, and we all know that the incidence and prevalence of tuberculosis is very high in the country. Then you may suffer from some form of neuropathy. That's what you call optic neuritis in those patients. And of course, idiopathic. Sometimes we don't know the cause, but we'll have this particular disease. And that is, of course, peripheral neuropathy. So these are just some conditions. Sabi natin, athletes, those who are older, no? Sabi nga kayo na 1 of 3 older patients, individuals would suffer from neuropathy. But of course, that's not exclusive only for the old, okay? Because even young individuals, athletes, as I've mentioned, those who would use their hands repetitively, then they are at risk to develop neuropathies. Smoking is a toxin, so you could suffer from neuropathy just like alcohol intake, especially those who abuse alcohol. So they are prone to develop neuropathies. Okay? And of course, as I mentioned earlier, diabetes mellitus is a very important risk factor for neuropathy. Sabi ko kayo na 70% of diabetics, and the prevalence of diabetes in the country is now as high as 5 to 7%. And you can just imagine how many of the 100 million Filipinos would suffer from a complication of diabetes mellitus, and of course that is neuropathy. And the most characteristic symptom or neuropathic manifestation of diabetes neuropathy is what we call the stocking and glove phenomenon. Ibig sabihin, walang nararamdaman sa legs, both legs, as well as the hands. So stocking and glove. And that is a very important manifestation of diabetic polyuria. Okay? So how can we